Oscar Bevis for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted today to be joined all the way from California by Hector Valdez, 12-0, 8 knockouts, Golden Boy promotion, super bantamweight. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you.
I thought we'd get you on today, get some of the UK fans to know a bit more about some of these Golden Boy fighters, the up-and-coming guys, as we'll call them. I'm going to start straight off the bat. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your journey originally into boxing before we get onto the stuff here and now?
Well, I started boxing when I was about seven and a half, going to 8. It was kind of a mistake, I guess. My dad was working at this boxing gym that was by our house, and he was doing like a remodeling thing for like an office or something, and I tagged along with him. And I told him, hey, I want to do it, let me do it. And he told my mom, and she was like, well, just let him do it. He's not gonna like it. He's gonna just get out of it like any other sport that I've tried. And well, I mean, we fast forward to now. I'm 24, about to be 25. I'm still in it, and I still love it.
What had you tried before? What other sports had you sort of dabbled in and given up?
I tried soccer, and then I tried baseball.
What was it about boxing that just sort of hooked you?
I don't know. I guess it was just, I don't know. I guess it was just something different. I mean, not a lot of people, want to get into boxing. I don't know. Something about it I like. I guess it's just in me, but because none of my family or anybody, we don't have boxing background or anything. So I'm the first one. Like I said, I think it was just, I guess it was just in me. It's just something that just happened.
And obviously, like you said, fast forward to now and you're still in the game. You have to be good at it to stay in the game as well. So when did you sort of realise that I'm actually quite good at this and I can make something of myself here?
I think I was like 10, I believe. I think I was like 10 when I went to my first national tournament. You got to keep in mind that my dad, he's a trainer. He started when I started. We started at the same time. He has no background, no boxing background. He doesn't know much about boxing, or he didn't know much about boxing. And I was fighting in top competition, and I was actually winning, and I actually won my first national silver gloves. And to win that national silver gloves over here in the States, that's something big at that age. So that's when I was like, man, you know what? I can actually do something with this. So then my dad, he also, put me at a different position. He put me in with other coaches. He took me to other training centers and stuff like that, so I can better myself. And well, I mean, I was like, man, I think I can do something with it. And well, here I am now.
And I just want to brush over the early part of your professional career, because am I right in saying you signed with Golden Boy about 5-6 months ago?
Right.
Yeah, so if that's the case, obviously the start of your career, you sort of perhaps come up and done it the hard way. Would it be fair to say fought on smaller shows to make that name for yourself?
Right. Yeah. When I first started, it was tough. A lot of upsetting moments. Manager drama, fights coming and falling through. Money wise, I remember I used to fight for free back in the days. Or back like in my first couple of fights, I was fighting for free. I think I still have my first professional fight. I think I still have my check. It was $1. I got $1.
$1? I mean,
yeah.
Why $1? I mean, because you might as well fight for free. It's almost like a bit insulting to just chuck $1 at you.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess because they had to pay the fighter, because I guess, and I don't know. I guess they were paying for my opponent, so they would pay me $1. Just so they say, they're actually paying me.
That's crazy. I mean, it must make the fact that you're now signed with Golden Boy and you have a potential big future ahead of you. It must make that even more sweeter, the fact that you had to fight for free and you had to do these things that have put you in this position now.
Oh yeah, of course. like I said, I mean, this is a big. This is when I got signed. It was one of the best moments in my life, in my boxing career, and well, being able to be, you know, in shows for Golden Boy, and being able to look back at my past to where I am now, man. It's a blessing to see where I have been now, or where I am now.
And obviously, Golden Boy won't just take a risk on anyone. They will look to get young fighters that are touted to do big things. Let's say someone doesn't know anything about Hector Valdez. Judging by your record, would it be fair to say you can bang a little bit?
Well, I would say yeah, because you know I do have a couple of knockouts. But yeah, I do love to bang. It's something that we're working on in the gym. My coach is still, you know, wants me to, you know, box a little bit more. You know, that way we go get on a different level. You know, and that way we go farther in this career. But yeah, I'm definitely a banger. Um, but as far as my resume, I guess it's pretty good. It's pretty good as right now. As actually to get onto Golden Boy, my first fight, it was tough. I went versus a 6-0 young active prospect from LA, and man, that fight was a dog fight. We banged it out. I think we were both competing for this position, so there it was a dog fight, and well, I came victorious, thank God. And well, now here I am.
And obviously, that's going to put you in a better place for when you want these big fights and eventually you want to become world champion. Because when you make that step up, you can look back on those experiences. We saw it with someone you know in Josh Franco. I mean, he's been having tough fights and he made the leap and he won a WBA title just a few days ago. So having those tough fights, then you can learn on them rather than just beating up a bum, building your record. Do you know where I'm coming from? The tough fights are the ones that you need at this moment in your career.
Yeah. I think that's the key here, because sometimes they put you with all these easy fights. Your record looks great. It's your 20-0, you know, with 20 knockouts. And then they put you, you know, you get signed or whatever, and they put you with somebody decent, and then it's like, whoa, what happened, you know? And like my boy Josh Franco, you know, me and him are pretty close. Man, he had a tough career. He had a real tough career. So he's what 24, 25, and he already had a trial. He already had three fights with the same person. You know, but he made it happen. You know, he's world champion now, and I'm glad for him. I was actually sparring him for that fight, so they actually flew me out there to train with him, and I'm proud of him, and I'm happy he's a world champion. He deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, it's spectacular performance from Josh, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of him now, sort of on the mainstream networks. You know, quite a lot of guys. You seem to be hanging around these guys in California, around the Garcia boxing gym as well. You're hanging around and mixing in the right circles. Virgil Ortiz as well, someone who's touted to become a superstar, who you're very close with. So mixing with these guys as well, you can sort of suck all the knowledge out of them as well that can make yourself a better fighter.
Oh yeah, definitely. Being around them, like just going into that gym, the atmosphere is just different. You go in that gym and it's like you want to train harder. You want to push yourself. You see the guy, you see somebody next to you and he's hitting the bag, you know, quicker, harder, you know, better. Now you want to be like him because you don't want to be the weakest link. So, you know, all that pushes you, and you know makes you more ambitious to become a world champion, to become a top prospect or a top contender. You know, all that plays a role. So I'm blessed to be where I'm at. I'm blessed to be at the RGBA.
Can you sort of tell that someone has the minerals to become world champion when you see them training? Like, obviously, you will see behind closed doors things that fans and people like us won't see. Can you sort of tell when you see someone like Virgil Ortiz or Joshua Franco on the pads, on the bag? Can you sort of tell that they've got that mindset, and you sort of know as a boxer that they're going to be successful?
I mean, I don't like to judge people, but I guess you can tell a little bit. It's more like how bad they want it. You know, if they're disciplined. If if you're one of those, if they're one of those guys that, you know, they're always constantly at the gym, even if they're doing a little bit, you know, they're always at the gym. They're always, you know, taking care of themselves, doing all that stuff. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, doing all that stuff for to better themselves. You know, that's who I think, you know, is gonna make something, because there's a lot of boxers that are great. You know, there's people that are real good at boxing, but they don't have discipline. They don't. They go up weight a whole bunch. They they're just never at the gym. They out there partying and stuff, and people like that, they can only get so far, because once you get to a certain age, I mean, you can't really tell them anything no more. It's whatever they're gonna do.
I want to move on to the world scene now. Obviously, you know, you're not there yet. You'll want to be there. And I can imagine you're looking at the guys at the top of the super bantam division. How do you assess it at the moment? Because there's some real good fighters in there, but there's not any standout names that are on that big time level. They're sort of fighters who, you know, may not be the most popular guys, but some real talent, the likes of Ray Vargas, Emmanuel Navarrete, Akhmadaliev, who's recently become a two-belt world champion in 8 fights. So there's some real talent in there. How do you assess that division at the top?
I think 122 is packed. One of my favorite fighters to watch at 122 is probably Ray Vargas. And I think he's one of the toughest ones. He's tall, he's linky, he has a long arm reach, beautiful combinations. And the way I see myself in that is, I gotta work real hard. I gotta work real hard. You know, give it my all. And you know, just, you know, put God first, and you know, hopefully, you know, one day I get to have a crack at one of those world titles.
How far away do you think you are from that world level?
Um, I'm probably maybe like in another year or two, and then I can, you know, get there, you know, get my first crack at it. But overall, you know, I'm gonna stay I guess in my lane, you know, whenever my coach, my manager, you know, people that I'm working with, they when they feel that I'm ready, then let's go for it, you know, because I have 100% confidence in them. They've never done me wrong. They haven't done me wrong. So, you know, whenever they say, hey, look, this champion is you know, he's challenging you, you know, and I think you can actually do something. Shoot, well then let's go for it. You know, I'm gonna be ready.
Is it important not to get carried away in the hype as well? Because when a young fighter signs with Golden Boy, you're mixing it with these guys behind closed doors as well. I can imagine there's a bit of you in your mind that thinks, I have the potential to be a superstar, but you also don't want to get carried away as well. So you sort of need to keep quite calm and not sort of believe the hype around yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's the number one thing in boxing. You know, keep your feet on the ground, because, like I said, I mean, I was somebody fighting for free, and you know, when you lose that hunger, then you're gonna just be another could have been, and you don't want to be that. You know, so you got to stay hungry, stay humble, and you never know. You know, the world spins hundreds of times, you know, thousands of times. You never know what could happen.
Right, Hector, just before I let you go, one more question. What do you want to achieve from boxing? Of course, you want to be world champion, but is there anything that you sort of want to leave the sport with? When people remember the name Hector Valdez, what do you want to be remembered as?
I want to be remembered as a great guy, you know, a great guy overall. Like, I guess I want to be remembered as like a Manny Pacquiao. You know, he's great. You know, I'm not saying that I want to be a governor or anything, but the way he helps people, you know, he gives back to everybody, because, you know, Pacquiao was poor, you know, and so was I. You know, I came from nothing, so I want to be remembered as a great guy. I want to be remembered to let people, you know, help people out. You know, have my community, you know, help my community out. and all that good stuff. You know, I don't want to just be known as, oh, that's the, you know, he's famous. You know, he's a world champion with her. No, I want to be known as, oh no, he's a cool guy. You know, we could be at McDonald's and he'd be hanging out with us. You know.
Brilliant, Hector. Thanks for giving me some of your time. And yeah, hopefully, like I said, we're going to link with a few more guys from Golden Boy now, so we can chat again after your next fight, before your next fight, and yeah, whenever it is, we look forward to seeing you back in the ring. Actually, just quickly, when are you next back in the ring? I haven't even asked you. When are we going to see Hector Valdez in action?
Well, actually, right now we're since all this pandemic stuff has been going on, it's been kind of hard since they're only doing certain amount of bouts per show or whatever. So we're still in the making of some stuff. You know, there's a card in July and there's a card I think in August, I believe. So we'll be seeing. We'll see what happens. See what happens. Hopefully I'm in one of those cards, but I'll be letting everybody know for sure.